Anong nangyayari? This is not how I'm supposed to, how I've planned this. Anyway, ayan. I think it's recording. It's recording right, so we can begin in a while. Hintay lang tayo ng... there. Hello, good morning from Los Angeles, Mark Alan Yabot. It's good evening to us dito sa Pilipinas. It's kind of late. This is not how I hope the live stream would go because I was having technical issues earlier. Nagkaroon ng issue sa tilting ng camera. So while we're waiting pala for the for the rest of the people, for our kapuso, kapamilya, ka-scripters ng mga kaibigan to join us. Here's what we're going to do for today, for tonight's live streaming. What we're going to do is that while we're waiting for additional na mga people to join us, muna tayo, discuss muna tayo ng mga ibang topics outside the main topic. So easily, there are two intro topics na pag-uusapan natin, and then we will be talking about the main issue right after that. Kasi right now, as you all know, katatapos lang ng Manhunt International dito sa Pilipinas. So we might want to touch up on that and yung current situation ng mga binibining Pilipinas girls, ano nang nangyayari and all that. How's the weather here? Mark, it's actually mainit pag hindi siya maulan. It's very hot, but hindi siya consistent. Kasi mainit siya pag hindi umuulan, pero kapag umuulan malamig yung panahon. It's kinda summer pero maulan na summer, yung pakiramdam niya, maalinsangan yung panahon. The heat is really bearing on your skin, kaya kapag lumalabas ako, I usually do sunscreen dahil medyo masakit sa balat yung init niya lately. Pero kapag umuulan naman, the weather naman is fine. I mean the temperature is fine, obviously, pero hindi siya yung consistent na kapag katulad noon na kapag tag-ulan, yung drop sa temperature is very noticeable, and it's consistent throughout the day. Hindi ganun yung pakiramdam ngayon dito sa Pilipinas. The weather is crazy in the sense na if it's not raining, yung temperature is okay, pero kapag the temperature is very hot, pero pag it's raining, maayos naman yung pakiramdam, hindi maalinsangan. Thoughts on Gabby's sashing look? I think that look was parang patikim dun sa pasabog na gagawin nila, because later this month, October na pala ngayon, I will be releasing a video on a very short, like 2-minute lang interview or 2-minute na catch up with designers ni Gabby na si Jevin Salaysay and Ken Batino. And nabanggit nila na yung gown ni Gabby will be pinsan ni Raya at saka ni Perla. So yung sashing na look niya, hindi ako nagtaka. Siguro I'm just being nitpicky, siguro mas maganda siguro kung soft na silk jersey yung ginamit doon sa pants na part para hindi siya masyadong stiff as compared to the underskirt na part nung entire outfit. So, yun lang. But I think it looks great because tumatak kasi yung Perla na gown niya. And I think it's a good way to reintroduce herself by starting at the very beginning of the competition with a very wow na outfit. So asahan natin na for this competition, Gabby will be having a lot of wow na mga outfits because yun yung pinagtrabahuan talaga niya and ng kanyang team. Bandy Kot, hello, kumusta? Ayan, Suki ka na dito, kumusta naman dyan sa inyo? Thoughts on Roberta. I will be talking about that a little bit later. Nasa agenda natin siya ngayon. Nakasulat na siya lahat. So, we will be talking about Roberta and MGI as a whole a little bit later. Hajiev, hello. I'm so jirits kasi parang dead ma MJ kay Roberta. Just as if gulat pa ako. Yeah. Alam naman natin kung paano ang larotchi ni Angko. Catherine Valois, thoughts on what's happening with Miss USA? Yan ang main topic natin ngayon because there's something wrong with American pageants, especially or specifically yung pageants under the Miss Universe system na parang anong nangyayari sa inyo? Bakit kayo nagkakalat ngayon? So, before we get to that, gusto ko muna pag-usapan itong mga recent na mga developments natin with Manhunt International and yung tatlong Binibining Pilipinas girls na lumalaban ngayon. So, unahin natin na muna si Manhunt International. Manhunt International, it looks like parang 10 days lang sila yung kanilang competition or less sa sobrang bilis niya na parang hindi mo naramdaman na parang kagat lang ng langgam na naramdaman mo and then after that nawala ka agad yung sakit. I think that's the issue with a pageant like Manhunt na parang ayaw yata nila ng audience or parang ayaw yata nila na ibukas yung sarili nila sa maraming tao because if you look at their Manhunt na social media, parang you have yata to follow before you can even share or they're not even allowing sharing of their content on social media. So parang allergic sila sa sharing ng mga posts nila ganyan. Na hindi ko rin maintindihan on Instagram because if you really want your brand to explode, you have to leverage social media in order to reach new people, to reach new audience. And I think yun yung isa sa hindi ko maintindihan with Manhunt. And from the looks of it, very pili din yung mga media that is invited doon sa kanilang papiging. I think that because it is owned or it is produced by Empire, alam niyo naman yung relationship ng pamunuan ng contest na yan. I mean ng Empire with some pageant peeps, myself included, no, na hindi sila masyado in good terms with a lot of opinionated na mga pageant vloggers like me and Tita Lavinia. So parang it's just a waste of opportunity to explode its reach, explode its muscle on social media na hindi sila open with a lot of media na to cover their pageants, their pageant. And I think ito yung nangyari dito sa Manhunt na parang minadali yung pakiramdam and I don't mind it at all because sa dami ng male pageant ngayon parang ngayon kung ang tagal-tagal na ng Manhunt, parang hindi rin naman na kayo something's wrong. Let's check with the internet. Anong nangyayari? Okay, I think we're still okay. What I was saying with Manhunt is sa dami ng male pageants ngayon, even though sobrang tagal na nila and they have a brand and name recall, napag-iwanan sila in terms of social media presence, in terms of publicity, in terms of marketing kasi mahina yung kanilang marketing arm. It's like they don't know what they're doing when it comes to making themselves popular again. Parang nag-rebrand sila as a male supermodel competition and yet yung how it is cascaded to a larger audience is not very well smoothly planned out. It's not very well well planned or well executed, perhaps yung right word. So I think meron silang opportunities doon sa area na yun na kinakailangan lang nilang ayusin. Meron silang mga opportunities that they've missed on that area na if they want to rebrand, they really need to extend out to a lot of people, especially on the pageant media side, in order for them to have, better reach. Kasi if yung reach nila is only within, the followers nila, and yung following nila, kinakailangan pa nilang mag-approve just to be a follower of their, maging follower ka ng kanilang social media na mga pages. Parang that's a very unfortunate situation because, of course, yung Instagram algorithm would not really make you reach a lot of people if you are a private na account, unlike pag public account ka. So something to ponder on siguro on their socials, especially their social media person. Ayan. Now, let's go now to the Binibining Pilipinas girls because today ang lipad ni Chelsea. The last time that I posted about this was I think right after their send-off. And ang nabanggit ko doon, Gabby is leaving on the 26th, which nangyari. And then Chelsea is leaving at around the 30th of September. But I think nagkaroon hindi naman flight issue. Nagkaroon ng booking date. Kumbaga parang yung booking date was placed on the October 1st instead of on the 30th. One day delay lang naman ang nangyari, but ang labas kasi niya because Albania is at the other side of the world, mauuna ang Pilipinas ng one day in terms of date. So ang dating niya doon is still October 2. As for Roan, hindi ko pa alam kung kailan ang eksaktong lipad niya, if it's going to be on the 5th of this month. So hintayin na lang natin yung official na send-off, official departure date niya. As for Chelsea, I think klaro naman sa ating lahat that the voting for Miss Globe is going to be a paid voting. We're not sure kung mag-o-open sila ng free voting later on, but let's just assume na paid voting ang magiging basehan ng pagpasok sa semis ng isa sa mga candidates. So sanay naman na tayo sa ganun eh. If you don't have the capacity to vote kasi in US dollars, I believe yung voting system na to, it's fine. Support na lang tayo, in other ways. Also, another thing, I've heard that this is the first time na magta-travel si Chelsea alone. So I hope na yung mga Pinoys along the way, along the routes na dadaanan niya bago siya makarating ng Albania would help her out. Be extra accommodating lang to her kasi this is her first international travel na mag-isa lang siya. So competing pad. So konting lambing lang siguro for our candidate. And another thing, also if napansin nyo yung mga departure outfits ni Chelsea at ni Gabby, very Filipiniana but very modern yung take. So I am hoping that the same thing will happen for Roan when she leaves for Thailand. Indonesia pala. I'm hoping na sana may konting ode to the Philippines pa din yung kanyang departure outfit, especially kasi sila yung tatlong tututukan natin this month na magko-compete. Now, since we're talking about Roan, yes, wala sa top 20 si Roan doon sa votes for the dinner. But, with all due respect naman, yung pa-dinner naman na yan, all along we thought na kailangan na kasama yung ating kandidata sa pa-dinner lagi. Kasi doon makikita, makukuha ko sinong manalo. Pero nung panahon naman ni Abina, hindi naman siya nakasama sa pa-dinner. So, probably it just makes sense na na suportahan na lang natin si Roan on the actual na voting where pipili sila ng semi-finalist based on that voting system. We're not yet sure if it's going to be Instagram or on Facebook, pero let's just assume na the voting later on for the semi-final spot will be on those platforms. Another thing, parati nilang sinasabi doon na we will you have to follow the Instagram or the page ng ng MGI para lang makavote kayo. Actually, kasinungalingan yun because nagmamanage naman ako ng social media accounts, pero if I'm going to check one by one yung libo-libong mga nag-vote sa isang candidate, if they are followers, parang mauubos ang oras ko sa pagbibilang pa lang. And I don't think that they have the capacity or they have the manpower to manually check one by one. So parang eme lang yun ni Uncle. So ewan ko sa inyo, if you want to follow, go ahead. If ayaw nyong mag-follow, carry lang din. Basta ang importante, pagdating ng votes for the semifinal slot, lahat tayo magkaisa sana for Roan. Now, let's start with some comments para na tayo, we get the ball rolling. Okay, pogi kaya ni Philippines, sabi ni Pageant Fanatic. Yes, actually na po, may gwapo naman oh my God, I forgot his name, si Mr. Philippines, si Manhunt Philippines. Very modelesque yung kanyang katawan, very statuesque din yung kanyang proportion. So, I don't mind him in the top 5. I think he was first runner-up if I'm not mistaken. Although kasi I was already expecting Australia, Lockie Carey to win kasi una sa lahat, he has like 37,000 followers on his Instagram, and pangalawa, established na kasi siya na model kumbaga marami ng mga international photographers ang kumukuha sa kanya for shoots. So hindi na nakakapagtaka that siya yung manalo, especially now that ang rebranding nila is they are a modeling search na hindi na sila male pageant. Because of that in itself, I mean, you wanna, if he is going to be signed up for modeling agencies here dito sa Pilipinas under Empire or under Mercator later on, it makes sense that you're going to book someone who is already an experienced model, someone who is already have modeling background, so hindi mo na kinakailangan i-train kung paano umanggulo sa harapan ng camera, especially kung modeling competition ka nga. And it does make sense na yung nanalo may may following na sa Instagram as a model, meron na ring rich enough na body of work in terms of photography. So, hindi siya magkakaroon ng problema sa pag-build ng kanyang portfolio. Hajiev, I am not sure if Manhunt is owned by Empire. I would assume they are a partner or they are at least a local partner here. I'm not sure about the Singaporean company or Singaporean owner before. Perhaps parang in-name na lang na owner, pero I am not privy to any information on that. Okay, Engpring. Sir Jason, thoughts nyo kay Arboni Gabriel? Malaki ba ang chance manalo ni Miss US? Wait lang, basahin ko ulit. Sir Jason, thoughts nyo kay Arboni Gabriel? Malaki ba ang chance manalo sa Miss USA 2022? That's the thing. Isa din ito sa i-discuss ko later on. Kasi ang problema with Miss USA ngayon, kinakailangan kang magbayad ng like $35 just to watch it. So $35 at the rate na 58 pesos a dollar na siya ngayon. Parang, don't you think it's too extravagant yung preliminary ticket price just for it to watch online. For that kind of price, I would hope na at least parang live live ko siyang mapapanood, 'di ba? Parang it's too much. Kaya maghihintay na lang ako ng mga clips that will be released or screen cap ng mga ibang mga US vloggers, at doon na lang ako magbe-base ng thoughts ko on the girls. I do however was able to see yung kanyang swimsuit performance. I'm just a little bit concerned doon sa medyo flat yung kanyang hair dito sa tuktok, tapos kulot-kulot dito. Parang dapat, 'di ba, dapat pag kulot-kulot may volume din on top, parang ganoon. Parang ang nangyari kasi is parang napaka-flat ng ganoon, tapos may bounce dito. Parang hindi lang siya mag-connect sa akin. I would have expected na sana may konting volume on top before it curls down sa kanyang shoulders, yung kanyang hairstyle. I do, however, should commend, Suzanne Perez, Miss New Mexico. Maganda at malinis, at saka pulido siyang maglakad sa swimsuit. Yan pa lang yung mga nakikita ko in terms of the swimsuit, silang dalawa. So, I am not sure with the other girls. I'm just hoping na may mag-upload later on, or if mag-decide ang Miss USA na i-upload yung video ng entire preliminary competition, then saka ko na lang siya panonoodin. And by that time, siguro, baka may nakoronahan ng Miss USA. So parang, ano pang point nun, diba? Thoughts why Colette at si Roberta sa IG votes, daig pa tayo ng Crimea at Cambodia. Yun na nga ang problema eh. Wala kay Roberta yung problema. Nasa pageant mismo. Wala nang amor ang Pilipinas sa kanya. Even if nagpo-post ako about helping sa voting for Roberta, or help promote her voting na mga links on Facebook, ang comment ng mga tao parang ayaw na lang nilang magpabudol dun sa pageant mismo. So yun yung masakit doon, dahil ang nangyayari is naapektado si Roan nung hindi pagsuporta ng mga Pinoy fans doon sa mismong pageant. But I also believe na kaya naman ni Roan na itawid yung competition without relying on fan votes. Kasi in terms of performance, I think nandun siya sa isa sa mga pinaka highly skilled na mga candidates na ipinadala natin sa NGI. So I am hoping na pagdating ng prelims, doon siya magpasabog, kasi wala tayong aasahan ngayon sa voting kasi nabudol na ang mga Pilipino at ayaw na lang magpabudol ulit doon sa pageant. This is not a reflection on Roberta, but rather a reflection on the pageant, on the MGI na pageant, na walang amor ang Pinoy sa kanila. So yun. It's not against Roberta, it's the pageant na may problema. Third former says, Roberta will win. I am keeping my fingers crossed on that, because the theory na umaaligid here is that there might be a chance na bago ang may-ari ng franchise, so wag na lang nilang ibigay doon sa lumang franchise owner yung title, simply because may bago namang magmamay-ari ng MGI franchise sa Pilipinas. I think for me that kind of thinking is BS, simply because kung deserve ni Roberta manalo, sana ibigay nila kay Roberta, hindi yung nilalaro lang nung may-ari para lang mapag-usapan yung susunod na franchise owner. So yun lang. I'm just hoping, keeping my fingers crossed, that hindi tayo umabot na naman dun sa ganung scenario. Pero knowing si uncle ninyo, kung kaya niyang sabihin na nagkaroon ng triple tie sa finals, parang, 'di ba? Parang, okay, sige. Sige, paniwalaan natin. Pero, kinda suspicious, 'di ba? Okay. Nasaan na ba tayo? Ace Evans, True Surges, hindi na nila pinakawalan si Lochi kasi experienced model plus maraming followers na si Lochi. Yes, totoo. Yun na nga, di ba? Parang nandyan na yan eh. Ang hinahanap mo, saktong-saktong siya na. Pakakawalan mo pa ba? Di ba? At saka, sa sobrang bilis niya, parang, anong nangyari? Di ba? Okay, Lemuel, 23.5. Sir Jason, what can you say about the three half Filipina Miss USA contenders after the preliminaries? Who among the three can make it to the top 16? Lemuel, hindi ko siya napanood. Wala sa... I don't know. It's just that I find it very, very icky, or rather, I find it very disgusting na, na you have to pay an exorbitant amount for the preliminaries. Considering na live stream lang ang labas niya, 'di ba? Parang mag-shell out ka ng $35 just for that. Kung ipunin ko na lang yung $35 na 'yon, tapos manonood na lang ako ng finals ng Binibining Pilipinas, idagdag ko siya doon sa ticket na na binili ko for my dad and for my sister nung nanood kami. Nakatikim kami ng napatikim ko sila ng better seats for Binibining Pilipinas, 'di ba? Kasi ang laki din ng $35 na 'yon. And if you are going to compute yung sadali lang, maglabas lang tayo ng calculator ha. If you're going to compute yung 150 na dollars for the Miss USA, Miss Teen USA National Costume Show. So, dalawa yon, or regional show, or state show, costume show, whatever ang tawag nila. Yung dalawang preliminaries, tapos may isa pang event. I think it's the finals. So, 150 US dollars times, sabihin natin, nasa 58 na ngayon yung palitan ng ng dollar ngayon. Sige, ibaba natin to 57. Sige, gawin na lang natin 57. 'Di ba 8,500? 'Di ba? Parang konti na lang dadagdag mo, 'di ba? Nasa lower box ka na ng Binibining Pilipinas. Hay, 'di ba? Parang ganun kalaki. Kung dagdagan mo yung yung 8,000 ng additional na additional 6,000, may bago ka ng phone. 'Di ba? Parang wait lang, 'di ba? Kinda exorbitant yung yung prices na yon. And $35 just para manood ng prelims. Tapos i-upload din lang naman nila later on sa YouTube nila. Parang nagwaldas ka lang ng pera. There. But okay, let's go to your question kung anong pakiramdam ko doon sa tatlong Pinay. I am hoping na sana makapag-corona tayo ng Miss USA na half Pinay. But knowing yung owners ng Miss USA pageant, they probably are going to crown another black girl. Not that I have an issue with that, but I think yung visibility na may ibibigay nila doon sa winner would help, the pageant to look more inclusive. So, I don't know. More probably, a woman of color is going to win. I am hoping na kahit papano makapasok ang isa o dalawa sa mga Pinay sa top 5 ng Miss USA this year. Hajiev, yes, I agree. Based lang doon sa nakita ko so I don't have any point of comparison with other girls under the Miss USA na pageant. Yes, Miss New Mexico shown, si Suzanne did well, especially in the swimsuit. So Miss Texas, I felt was holding back. I hope both of them make it sa semis and one of them wins. I'm also hoping for yung si Kiana Yamat. She is Miss Hawaii USA. She also has Filipino blood, kahit man lang semis man lang sana. Art Laurent, Ola from Madrid, my friend. Ola, besos Art, kumusta? I'm hoping na nasa afternoon or going towards the evening pa lang dyan sa Spain. Okay, balik tayo kay Bandy. The low vote turnout for Roberta and MGI is not a reflection on Roan. Yun na nga, tama yung sinabi ko kanina, na it's not really about Roan. It's about the pageant itself. But we're seeing how the standalone pageant will fare next year. Mukhang mahina ang branding ng pa-contest ni Uncle dito. Hindi sa mahina ang branding niya, Bandy. Strong ang branding ng MGI. Let's not fool ourselves from that. Very strong ang branding ng MGI. But is it the right branding? I mean, is it a positive branding yung meron sila? I don't think so. I think iba yung negative yung perception ng Filipino audience sa pageant na yan, kaya hindi siya palatable ngayon sa mga Pinoy audiences. There. Lemuel 23.5. Do you think it's time for an Asian descent winner to represent the US in Miss Universe? For history, the most common USA rep they send are either pure US, half Euro, or black woman. I don't know. I am hoping, but I want to keep my expectations in check. Kasi hindi ko ma-describe eh. Pero there is always something at the back of my head na baka hindi nila ibigay. Kasi I don't know, there is a power dynamics between whites and blacks in the US, and yung mga other cultural na minority na mga parang they don't get as much visibility. So, let's see. I am hoping, but I am not particularly expecting it. Parang manage lang our expectations. Ayan. Okay, so let's now talk about yung ano ba talaga yung reason kung bakit tayo nag-live stream ngayon. Kasi the reason for our live stream is because ang daming issues sa mga American-based na mga pageants, especially on the Miss USA Miss Universe na system, na parang ano ba ang problema ng mga ito? Bakit hindi parang they can't get their stuff right, or they cannot get their situations in check. So when I am reviewing over the past several weeks on ano bang nangyayari sa mga American pageants na to, that started with the very controversial Miss America 2.0, which later on snowballed with what is happening with Miss USA and Miss Teen USA now. I felt that there are three things that are the root issues or the root causes of the problem ng American pageants. And una, ang nakita ko is yung audience. May problema tayo sa audience, American audience. Dahil either nag-move on na sila, or dahil nag-iba na yung priorities nila when it comes to entertainment. Pangalawa is yung business entity that is running the mismong pageant itself. I think there is a emphasis on the bottom line instead of the entertainment factor of pageants. Kaya unti-unting nauubusan ng amor yung mga tao doon sa pageant itself. And third is yung branding ng pageants sa US. Parang tingin ko lito sila kung saan nila dadalhin yung mga pageants nila. Parang they are not sticking with their core image or their core essence, brand essence, core brand values. That it's not able to move forward to the right direction where yung current na audiences and new audiences are happy with. And of course, this is coming from a perspective ng isang tao na who's looking from the outside. I cannot for I cannot ascertain that this is the right perception, but this is what I am seeing right now. Ito yung nakikita ko from an observer's point of view. Siyempre, yung mga dynamics sa loob mismo ng pageant, sa loob mismo ng organization, hindi natin pwedeng mai-ascertain kung ano ba talaga yung direction nila. But this is rather someone's perspective from the outside, someone who has observed pageants for so long na parang ito na yung nararamdaman kong nagiging pattern ng kung saan sila pupunta, ano ang nangyayari sa loob. Okay. So first, ano yung first issue na dapat nating i-tackle? I think the first issue is the fact that the audience, American audience, has evolved. And I think the Miss USA organization and the Miss USA organization have seen that, have felt that. Sila yung unang nakaramdam nung nangyayari. That is why perhaps a lot of the things that they're doing is, you know, in order to pander to the new audiences that they want to bring into the pageant. And I think the thought is right, or the thought is the thought and intention rather is correct, but the way that they handle the execution needs a little bit work. I think yun yung issue with the audiences, na you are wanting to get more audiences that are a little bit more on the liberal side, a little bit more on the woke na side, but you're not realizing that yung current na audience na meron ang Miss USA, Miss Universe sa US are traditional na pageant fans. They're not necessarily the new, young na mga Gen Z, na mga TikTok influencers, na mga audiences, because right now ang mga nagpa-patronize naman talaga sa mga pageants sa US are the demographic that are skewing to the more conservative, older na mga pageant fan base. Ito yung mga lumaki sa pageants. Ito yung mga lumaki sa sa kultura ng pageants. And with the audience na the Miss Universe is trying to get or to acquire, iba yung kinalakihan nilang kultura than the current set of pageant fans. The current set of pageant fans still want the entertainment factor, still wants the glam na aspect ng pageants. Samantala, ang ginagawa ng Miss Universe and ng Miss USA na organization is hinahabol nila yung mga tao na not necessarily tumatangkilik ng pageants. Ito yung mga audiences na sinasabi nilang woke, na left-leaning, and these are the audiences na ang tingin nila sa pageants are outdated na mga na institution. Yun yung disconnect ng wanting new audiences, but at the same time not catering to your current audiences. I know that very progressive yung leaning nila sa ngayon sa US, especially for a lot of brands. That is why Victoria's Secret, di ba, dati we have the Victoria's Secret Angels as mainstays of their fashion show. Right now, naging body positive sila, naging diverse sila sa mga models that they hire. And now there's a lot of inclusivity in terms of their sizing, in terms of their models, in terms of their marketing and promotional na materials. It's good for them. Kudos for them for that. But with the pageant na industry, I think that karamihan pa rin ng mga taong tumatangkilik sa pageants is still within the mindset na there is a certain pageant body, there is a certain pageant visual aesthetic that very clearly defined in their mind's eye. And dito ngayon pumapasok yung nagiging issue with Harnaz. Dahil alam naman natin na mas malaman ngayon si Harnaz. She's more curvy nowadays as compared to the times that she won Miss Diva Universe. Doon pa lang, the difference of how skinny Harnaz was in Miss Diva versus how she is now, there is a disconnect on the body type na hinahanap natin sa pageants. I know that this is going to be a very controversial thing to say, but if we are truly open with different body types, di sana yung katawan ni Harnaz ngayon could have been something na nagpanalo sa kanya as Miss Universe. That should have been the body that she competed in Miss Universe and won won the title in, instead of the more skinnier side na nakita natin sa kanya. Ang nangyayari kasi dito is that ang mga candidates mismo, ang mga sumasali mismo sa mga pageants are still, conforming to the aesthetics, the body aesthetics that the, pageants is looking for. If we really are, looking at a pageant system na very open to diversity, then we should have seen, Miss Thailand. Suddenly I'm forgetting her name. Miss Thailand 2021 in the semis, 'di ba? Na kasi hodang hindi ganun kapulido yung pasarela niya, but she was able to carry herself in interviews well. Then she should have made semis. She could have won. She should have won as well, 'di ba? Kung talagang open na ang industry with different body types winning, not just joining but winning international crowns. So yun yung nagiging disconnect with the body image ngayon ni Harnaz. And what I'm talking is about that is yung pageant fans versus the bigger audiences that they are choosing. May imbalance, kumbaga. Iba yung hinihingi, iba yung nire-require ng pageant industry na katawan versus yung body diversity na gustong hawakan ng Miss Universe. If the Miss Universe really is supposed to be about, women embracing their true self, being confidently beautiful or beautifully confident in who they are at whatever size they are, then they should have made the semi-finalists of the Miss Universe pageant be reflective of different body types, different colors, races, para hindi siya nagkakaroon ng, ay, bakit ngayon, iba na yung katawan ni Harnaz, iba yung katawan niya nung sumali siya ng Miss Universe. So, nagkakaroon tuloy ng disconnect that there is the audiences na are okay with what body Harnaz has now, and then there is audiences within the pageant community na parang, okay, that's alarming yung weight gain niya. So, hindi magtugma. Yun yung sinasabi kong problema with the audience ng Miss Universe, Miss USA na pageant. They are looking for an audience, for a market that is essentially in contrast, in conflict with its current na set of audiences. Kumbaga, ang market na they are choosing to chase, choosing to acquire, does not have the same, values as the current market that is patronizing the pageant. Yun yung, I think, malaking problema with the Miss Universe audience, with the Miss USA audience. May standards of beauty, of physicality, may standards of production na ini-expect yung current na audiences niya ng mga pageants sa US, and hindi yun na-fulfill nung current na ginagawa ng org. What they're doing is actually they are alienating yung current na na market base nila in favor of a market base that thinks lowly of the pageant industry as a whole. Okay, who have other priorities in terms of where they get their entertainment. Sabi nga nila, di ba, go woke then go broke. I don't believe in that statement that it applies with what's going on with Miss Universe or Miss USA. I am thinking that the problem of these two American orgs two American pageant orgs is that they are chasing for new markets without taking care of their existing market. Kasi you can branch out naman your current audience without alienating yung core audience mo. Kasi ang nangyayari sa ngayon, yung core audience ng Miss USA, ng Miss Universe, parang feels like they are being left out with all of these new changes na nangyayari sa pageant. For example, if you have watched yung video ni Danny Walker, detailing yung requirements sa wardrobe ng mga Miss USA contestants na kinakailangan meron silang Miss USA t-shirts and 7 o 8 na bottoms in black. Tapos yun ang gagamitin nila everyday sa mga activities nila. Parang hindi ba parang it does go against the glamour factor ng pageant. Remember when Crystal Stewart was first announced to acquire the Miss USA, Miss Teen USA na franchise, pinangako niya na ang pageant ang Miss USA na pageant is going to be a combination of the US presidential debate, the UFC, and the America's Next Top Model na competition. And we don't even get that, 'di ba? Parang saan 'yon? Saan nakita ba doon sa production ng Miss USA last year yung pinangako niyang 'yon? This year, nakikita ba natin yung mga 'yon sa kanilang mga outputs? Sa social media nila, halos wala kang makitang maganda na mga posting. Karamihan panay TikTok, parang reels ng ng current winner nila na parang hindi wala kayong maipakitang glam shot. Yung glam shot niyo sa nung nagpunta kayo ng Mexico, yun na yun. Wala kayong update sa website ninyo. Late kayong mag-upload ng bio ng mga candidates. So, that's an issue na kinakailangan natin i-address because you promised, glamour. You promised, very high profile na mga brands being reflected in your pageant, and yet we don't see it. What we see is 7 days na iisa pareho lahat ng outfit ng mga girls. And then there's not much diversity in terms of glam. Tapos first impression outfit, yun ang magiging outfit ng mga candidates for when they are called in the semi-finalists. So what happened to Sherry Hill? What happened to Giovanni? What happened to other brands in the US that could sponsor opening outfits, opening dresses? What happened to that? Nawala ba sila? Were you not able to get, sponsors? Were you not able to get, quality na magfa-fund ng brand nyo, ng mga sponsors and brands, para naman magkaroon ng glamour factor. Ano nangyari sa Chi? Ano ang nangyari sa Chinese laundry? Those things that are we thought mainstays ng pageant, especially ng Miss USA and Miss Universe na system, nawala lahat. So, what went wrong there? And also, there's also another thing that wherein they are alienating yung current set of market nila, while at the same time milking them dry with all of this paid viewing na mga activities and event. So parang hindi nyo na nga inaalagaan yung current na market, and then you're also milking them dry of their dollars. Parang it does not make sense. Why would they support you when why would they spend money on you when you're not giving them the kind of entertainment that they want, the kind of winner that they want, the kind of reign for the winners that they expect of a Miss USA na brand or of a Miss Universe na brand. So why would they even bother investing on you if everything that you've been doing have been something that is against what they want from your brand, right? So yun sana yung naiisip ng pamunuan ng Miss USA, because these are things that doesn't make sense from a brand standpoint. Now, since we are talking about yung paid voting system, yung paid na mga activities na streaming, ganyan, let's go now dun sa pangalawang malaking problema ng Miss USA at ng Miss Universe, which is being business entity. Ang nagiging focus nila is the bottom line instead of, doing or creating a pageant na meant for entertainment. The thing kasi with pageants is that kahit na pagbali-baligtarin natin yung word, kahit na i-rebrand ng Miss Universe ang Miss Universe pageant to Miss Universe competition, or Miss USA pageant to Miss USA competition, even if they stop using the word pageant in terms of their competition, it does not remove the fact that it's still a pageant. No matter what kind of wording, no matter what kind of repackaging you would do, it is still a pageant. And because it is a pageant, people who are watching it would still expect showmanship and entertainment value in your finals, in your activities, in your whole pageant duration. So yun yung nagkalimutan ng Miss USA at ng Miss Universe organization. They forgot that at the end of the day, this is still a pageant. And no matter how rebranding that they do to make this as a woke na organization or woke na terminology sa pag-change ng pageant into competition, it still does not remove the fact that there is a swimsuit competition. The girls are going to parade in their evening gowns. They would have their interviews. All of these things would still associate them with the notion of what pageantry is. And doon sa latest na release nila on yung Miss Universe na Miss Universe app, doon sa post nila announcing New Orleans as their as their venue. Natawa ako doon sa part where binanggit nila that the Miss Universe is like a interview process wherein meron nga lang swimsuit at evening gown, na parang lumabas doon sa doon sa write-up nila doon sa Miss Universe app that this is an interview competition.
na meron lang, na naging consequence lang is merong swimsuit at saka evening gown, which is BS in my opinion, because at the end of the day, you're still looking for a beautiful girl who can speak, who can walk the stage, and who will be crowned with your very expensive na muwad crown. I mean, isipin nyo, they're trying to rebrand it not as a pageant, but it is still essentially a pageant. And no matter what kind of, terminology na gamitin nyo, kahit napalabasin nyo na interview ito for a biggest job, na this is a job interview, it's still a fucking pageant. Or, oops, sorry about that. My bad. It's still a pageant that pagbalibaligtarin mo man ang mundo, yun pa rin yung kalalabasan niya. Kahit na anong pag-rebrand mo sa mansanas, at the end of the day, kapag kinagat at kinain mo siya, mansanas pa rin siya. Yun yung nakakalimutan ng pageant na to. Because as business entities, kinakailangan nilang maintindihan na yung pageant nila, entertainment pa rin ang hinahanap ng mga tao. That's the reason why they probably cannot get, high profile na mga sponsorship brands, because there's no more entertainment factor involved in their production. Every time that the Miss Universe is held in US soil, we expect a subpar na pre-pageant activities. We expect na we don't get the kind of glam that we see during Miss Universe in, let's say, Thailand, or Miss Universe in other countries when it's hosted in Manila. When it was hosted here in Manila, it was a 3-week, almost 4-week na occasion where nakapag-travel sa buong Pilipinas yung mga candidates. Hindi man ganun ka-exciting yung finals because it lacked, the Filipino na touch to the production or to the stage. At the end of the day, masaya yung mga girls because they were able to experience the heat, the food, the beaches, the different tourist spots in the Philippines, which we don't see in Miss Universe when it's held in the US. I am hoping na they are able to travel, they're able to experience New Orleans, the food, the music, the culture, when the pageant is done in January. But I am keeping my expectations quite low. And that's from personal experience. So I hope na the Miss Universe would still remember that yes, you are a business entity, but still the pageant is still the main area where there is a wide worldwide audience watching your competition, your finals night. So you need to hook them with a really great show before they can fall in love with what you're doing after the show. Kasi the organization is thinking that if we make sure that the post-pageant na activities ng winner is something that is, appealing to the crowd that they are chasing, that the crowd that they are hoping to, acquire to love the pageant, that's a very backwards way of looking at things, because the biggest funnel that is your audience, that is going to, that has a huge audience, is your finals night. And then after ng finals night, saka mo sila i-funnel into your post-pageant na mga activities, during the reign of the new queen. Yun sana yung yun yung sana yung naiisip nila, because I'm sure everyone in the Miss Universe organization have degrees, have college degrees, university degrees, that they have masterals and doctorates, and they are very much aware with what they call the marketing funnel. The marketing funnel essentially is
how you're going to capture a wide na audience and then funnel them down until they become loyal customers of your brand. Siguro naman aware sila dun sa konsepto na yon, sana ginagamit nila yon in order for them to expand their audience and at the same time train their audience to love and to be part of the pageant community that they are trying to build, so that yung community na na-build nila ma-funnel in nila further into the kind of loyal fans that would be able to spend more on their pageant later on. Kasi the only way that you get, kasi sa marketing kasi there is this thing that they call na mas mahirap na papasukin yung mga taong ayaw ng okay. It's easier to make happy your loyal customers rather than get new ones, because it takes time to train, it takes time to establish a relationship with new audiences, with new customers. So it's easier to funnel your efforts into the current market that you have instead of getting new markets to patronize your brand. Yun. I think I've ranted so much on this part ng problema ng MU that we need to read some more comments before we go to the final na issue ng American owned pageants na to. Okay. Okay, let's go with Travel Junkie. Hi Sir Jason, tama po kayo. Honestly, pikit mata akong bumoto kay Roan. Ano pong gut feel ninyo? Makakapasok tayo sa top 10 pang Miss U or Supra for Miss Roan? Okay, ang dami mong points na gusto kong isa-isahin, Travel Junkie. Una, yung last point mo, I agree. Mas gusto ko si Roan either sa Miss Universe or sa Supra. Although I would want her sa Supra kasi it's about time na masundan na yung nag-iisang Supra crown natin. And yung pikit mata na bumoto kay Roan, ganito kasi yun eh. As you all know, anyone who is related to Sashes&Scripts, to Sash Factor, na-ban kami or blocked kami sa Instagram ni MGI. So I cannot like in their actual na Instagram account. So ang ginawa ko is boboto ako using my other accounts, my personal accounts, just to be able to vote for Roan. Kasi there was this time na nung nagkaroon ng sunog sa Venezuela, yung hotel na kung saan sila magstay, doon nag-umpisa yun na because I posted it on Facebook and Instagram, blinak ako ni Uncle. Tapos 'di ba tinawag pa niya nga ang mga Filipino media, pageant media na gumagawa ng istorya. Hello, nakabalandra nga sa news ng Venezuela, nagkaroon nga ng sunog doon sa isang part ng hotel, diba? Parang lukaret din ang uncle ninyo. So, there. Speaking of Miss Universe, sir, how is the probability of a singer of the caliber like Rihanna actually performing? Was that poster is nakikisabay sa uso lang or may hint of truth? Again, from Lemuel, yes, nakiuso lang sila. And I think that's another issue. That's another issue that I will be tackling a little bit more on the branding part ng tawag nito ng problema ng mga pageants na to, dahil parang dito sila kung ano gusto nilang gawin. Sa totoo lang, para silang lost lamb. Okay, Art Laurent, so happy to see you again on live stream. Super na-miss kita. Okay, thank you, Art. Super loving my new home here. I hope you can visit me here in Madrid. I hope Mrs. Spain wins Miss Universe 2022. In fairness, kay Miss Spain, mas magali pa yata siyang magtagalog kaysa kay Celeste. Not that I have anything against Celeste, no. It's just that may kurat din kasi sa puso, or yung nakaka-touch din sa atin na other girls have better grasp of, the Filipino, the Tagalog language than our own rep. Ayun, I think that's another topic for another day, but may konting rub off ng amor kay Miss Universe Spain because ang galing niyang magtagalog in fair. I mean, um, pwedeng i-adapt ng Pilipinas kung pwede lang. Lemuel, again, it's the month of October. Let's all support Filipino representatives competing locally or abroad. Gabby, Roberta, and Chelsea in overseas, and MJ in Mr. International. Yes, I am glad to say na we will be able to cover for MJ in Mr. International because it will be held here in the Philippines. It's the date is on the 30th of October. We're still waiting for final details on the venue and time for that competition kasi alam mo naman, ang daming pageants ng October, di ba? Hajiev, maiba lang ako, grabe. Maureen M still looks in fighting form. Pwede pa niya talunin current contestants ngayon sa Miss Globe. Agree. And if it weren't for the age, I would really love her to be Miss Universe Philippines. I think that would have been, a good end goal for her sa pageants. But if she's happy with the Miss Globe crown, happy na rin ako. I was hoping na sana kahit papano yung Miss Supranational sana nasa binibini pa nung nag-compete siya para kahit doon na lang natin siya pinadala, 'di ba? Ayun. Another one from Travel Junkie. What can you say about the issue of the husband of Crystal Stewart on Miss USA candidates? MU or kept mum on it like Lupita Jones issue? Nasaan po ang woman empowerment? Actually, sa totoo lang, tinatanong ko din yan eh. I mean, they kept on harping about Miss Universe being a woman empowerment platform. Pero wala silang nabanggit about the oh my God, I forget. Masa Amini. I think I'm hoping I'm calling her name right. I think dapat nilang nabanggit 'yon. If they are really, about women empowerment because that's a huge women's issue right now. Sana din na-address din nila yung Roe versus Wade na situation na sana na tackle nila if they really want women empowerment na topics ganyan. And lalo na itong sexual harassment issue kasi nakisakay sila dun sa Me Too movement, remember? Na may mga pamarcha-marcha pa yung mga winners nila during the Black Lives Matter, the Me Too movement. So, I mean, this is the time where you put your money where it should count, diba? Parang hindi na lang parating lip service na lang on their part when it comes to these issues na very may tawag doon yung nakiki-ride on lang. 'Di ba? Parang ganun lumalabas yung Miss USA and Miss Universe issue na they should be tackling this head on. They should be saying that this is wrong yung mga allegations na ito. That is why, I also am glad that they remove yung si Max Sebrech, yung asawa ni Crystal from the Miss USA organization. He's no longer serving as the VP of the pageant. Pero sana naman, they took action na mas mabigat na action. Ayun. Kasi parang parang sabaw lang yung mga mga ginagawa nila eh. Lalo na yung nangyari kay yung ginawa ni Lupita na namahiya siya ng candidate, 'di ba? Or namahiya siya ng reigning queen niya. I mean, that's not right. I mean, bullying si bakla, 'di ba? Tatandaan niyang 'yon, Miss Universe pa siya. Nagawa niyang gawin 'yon sa candidates at sa reigning queen niya, parang hindi tama eh. I mean, if you really are going to be a woman empowerment platform, then you should, empower women, the candidates, the girls, even if the perpetrator is a woman herself. Diba? I mean, just to be fair. Nawawala yung credibility niya, my 2 cents. Yes, agree doon, Travel Junkie. Kasi parang ano yung gusto nyong palabasin na hanggang salita lang kayo. I mean, 'di ba, parang try to as much as possible, try to how to say this? Try to put your money where your mouth is. Do something if you're going to be it's like very cosmetic kasi yung treatment eh. When it's very cosmetic, when you wash it out, the same problems are still there. So it doesn't connect with what you're trying to do. It doesn't look authentic. Ayan. So, ano pa ba yung mga notes natin dito that we haven't mentioned yet? Okay, we'll now be talking about yung final na issue nila on branding. Kasi I think yun yung isa sa mga mga root causes, root problems ng Miss USA at ng Miss Universe na pageant. Kasi what you've seen when they tweeted yung pic ng kamay ni Rihanna and tagged her I think it's Twitter talaga. They tweeted a pic of a tattooed arm with the Miss Universe crown, and then they at Rihanna the caption, parang you are riding on somebody else's coattails instead of creating your own. And it's so off-brand to think na ginagawa nila yon. I think that parang parang you are riding it out on social media without thinking if is it the right image for your brand. That is why nagkaroon ng backlash or nagkaroon ng misunderstanding with that post. They're thinking that Rihanna is going to perform. Some pageant fans are even thinking that Rihanna bought the Miss Universe organization. And it only goes to show that it was the wrong post for the wrong crowd. Kasi what it made it look like is that they are so lost on who or what the brand is that kahit na anong trend na sa social media, papatusin nila just to make sure na kasama sila sa conversation, just to make sure that they are visible in their conversation. And this is also something that I've seen in Miss USA na accounts, because they are treating as their winner as if she's a TikTok influencer. And to think na journalist si reigning Miss USA, it does not compute well that you have a educated na journalist, and ang ginagawa niya lang is mga reels on Instagram. Yun yung nakikita doon sa social media feed of the Miss USA pageant, that all she does are reels. I mean, what happened to the philanthropic work that she is doing? Why not focus on that? What are the things that she's doing on the glam side? Is she doing, I don't know, magazine covers? Is she doing interviews with press? Even state press? Is she doing that? Try to make your content about your winner and about what she's doing throughout her reign, instead of having the Miss Teen USA doing TikToks throughout her reign. It does not compute because you are wanting to brand yourself as, very accomplished, very established na mga women for your winners, and yet all that you're doing is to have them, do trending videos, do, very surface level kind of stuff on social media. Parang medyo ano tayo doon, medyo hindi tayo agree doon because they can do something better with their reigns. Just look at Catriona Gray during her Miss Universe stint, during her Binibining Pilipinas stint. Lahat ng ginawa niya, may meaning, may purpose. Lahat ng mga videos na lumalabas, post, pre-pageant and post-pageant, may purpose, may halaga, may gustong ipahiwatig. And she is communicating that in different platforms. May video, may Instagram, may long format na video, may mga pictures. So hindi siya yung nagre-rely lang sa very trending na mga topics. Kung papatusin man niya yung mga hot trends on social media, there still has to be a sort of deeper meaning to it. Nabibigay niya ng, itatawid niya yung mga what can be deemed as very surface level na mga trends into something that has more deep na thought or deep na meaning. Ganon yung ginagawa ni Catriona to be relevant. Hindi yung, sige, magpa-pictorial lang ako for, I don't know, for example, for an event. But if you read her caption, if you read the way that she delivers yung caption niya, kumbaga may halaga. And even if na it's just a glam shot, tapos itatag niya lang yung mga glam team niya doon sa post na yon, there is always some additional content that would make you think of her post on a deeper na level, or i-educate niya yung audience niya on the importance of, let's say, cultural conservation ng mga theaters natin dito sa Pilipinas, di ba? Like what she did doon sa Manila Theater. So there are ways in order to make something that is parang sabaw na level na magkaroon ng mas deeper na meaning, understanding. In social media, you can educate, you can entertain, you can inspire, and your content pwedeng tawirin niya yung tatlo. Sa ngayon kasi ang nangyayari is parang marshmallow level na entertainment content lang yung nakikita ng mga tao doon sa mga postings ng mga social media platforms ng Miss USA at ng Miss Universe, which is a sad thing na mangyari because there is so much power in social media that they can leverage that to their advantage. Now, going back to the issue or dun sa root problem ng Miss USA at ng Miss Universe na pageants is yung branding nila, where they are so lost on what makes their brand tick, that their marketing and their social media efforts seem so off base. Na parang ngayon ang nakikita ng mga tao parang napaka-surface level lang. And if you look at yung current na Miss USA and Miss Universe na mga Instagram na mga post, karamihan sa kanila mga reels. And yung mga reels, okay, fine, dumadalaw yung mga candidates ng 71st Miss Universe sa offices nila, and they bring out content. on that. That's fine. But the mere fact na magkaroon kayo ng brand, off-brand na post like yung kay Rihanna, parang it's so not very Miss Universe. Uh, hindi siya hindi siya swak doon sa brand image na the audiences have of the Miss Universe pageant. And ganun din sa Miss USA. I am looking at the way that they are posting yung post nila on abortion. I think that was, that was a very political na post na they should have instead posted on other stuff like addressing yung issue doon sa body image on what do you call this, on harness, something that that is deeper in understanding or deeper delve into that topic. I think yung video ni The Sovereign, I think everyone should be watching that because she explains that the body issue on harness, weight gain is explained very well in her video, because she explains that we cannot put the blame solely on the pageant fans, because pageant candidates, they go to training through physical transformation to fit the mold of what is essentially the aesthetics for pageant, and then magtataka sila, they are surprised that when they gain weight, they are suddenly getting backlash. And that's something na unfair to blame on the pageant fans themselves. Kasi the issue there is that there was a misrepresentation that this is your ideal body in the Miss Universe pageant, and now this is another different body that is not within the ideal body that you presented during the pageant. So there is a disconnect there, and I would have appreciated something that is more towards that kind of conversation with the Miss Universe pageant and the Miss Universe organization, tackling that heads on. Kasi how they treated the issue was so very surface level that I don't think that it really created, better understanding on the issue. And, those are things na kinakailangan pag-usapan dahil women empowerment platform kayo right? So, these are things na kinakailangan yung pag-usapan. So, that is something that would go along with your branding. If you are going to be a pageant that, that discusses empowerment, inclusivity, and all that jazz, then make sure that any issue that is directly affecting your brand, you try to discuss them. You try to handle them head on. Hindi yung you skirt around the issue and not really tackle it head on. It's like, a target, and then instead of hitting it, bullseye, parang you just skirted around. Inikot mo lang yung problema. And I think that is, just a reflective of ano ba talaga yung branding ninyo. Because right now, ang nakikita kong nangyayari sa kanila is that they are rebranding the pageant, that it's going to be women for women. And that, for me, is problematic because the audience that you are, catering to is not just an audience for women. Imagine if women lang yung nanonood sa inyo, then I think that will be okay. But there are multitudes of different personalities, different kinds of people, different kinds of demographic that watches and supports the Miss Universe and Miss USA pageant. How about the gay male demographic that's supporting your pageant? Are you saying that because it is a women for women organization, it's a women for women pageant, then you're going to just neglect, you know, the expectations of the gay male audiences of your pageant? Because aminin natin, majority of your pageant is watched by gay male and females. When I'm looking at my demographic in Instagram or in Facebook, um, in the past several months, there is always like a 5 to 10% difference between between the males versus the females na demographic following me on Facebook. And on Instagram naman, I have like a 5% leading, lead of the female audiences versus my male followers. So, you try to imagine how big yung ano ninyo, yung demographic ninyo. You are essentially alienating like half of your demographic just by catering for what the women wants. And I think you need to balance it out. You need to understand that there is also, a different perspective aside from the women's perspective. That is why I do not agree with the Miss USA or Miss Universe having an all-female na judging panel. Because what happens is you are not only serving a audience of women, but you're also serving the male audiences as well. If you are already alienating the current na audience mo by pandering to the more progressive and woke na market without really understanding the needs and wants of your current na medyo on the conservative side na demographic, then you're already splitting your audience, and then further splitting them by alienating yung mga needs and wants ng mga male na audiences mo is further splitting it into two. So, anong naiiwan sa'yo? Konti na lang naiiwan sa'yo because hinati mo ng hinati eh. Kumbaga, what they are doing or what they did was to further narrow down into smaller fan base yung kanilang existing na fan base. And I think had they known or have they have a deeper understanding of their branding, their overall, brand value, essence, they would really understand na what they're doing is alienating their core audiences. So, ayun, let's look up at more comments at this point. Ayan, I think nawawala yung credibility. Yes, I think that's pretty much na tayo. We're up to date with the comments. So I think if I'm going to to wrap it all up, yung mga issues ng Miss Universe pageant, it's not just about making the wrong decisions, making rule changes. It's essentially these three things. It's essentially about not knowing their audiences and the current needs and wants of their current audiences, not understanding that yes, these are business entities, pageants are business entities, but they're forgetting that at the end of the day, pageants ito, and therefore entertainment is key to opening up the what do you call this, the audience pool base ng pageants, and then getting more people into the pageant community by first making sure that their shows, that their pageants are of quality, of certain standards. And then the third is understanding their branding. Kung sabihin nila na women for women, then tackle, very serious na mga issues and current na mga issues at hindi yung performative, activism ang nangyayari na tipong kapag convenient lang sa inyo yung topic, saka nyo pinapatos yung topic na yon. Pero kapag medyo feeling nyo naiki na siya, iwas kayo. So I think those are the things that really are the root causes and the root of all of the problems of these two organizations. I think if it were me, ibalik na lang ni Cristel yung Miss USA organization or yung franchise sa sa Endeavor or sa MUO, and then what do you call this, and then sa kanya nila isipin kung what they can do if they really want to own the franchise. Kasi right now, sa tingin ko, she's not effective in what she promised. She's not delivering the UFC plus ANTM plus presidential debate level. We don't see glam, we don't see fashion in Miss USA. We don't see, very entertaining na mga pageant and how it's done. In fact, I think that right now, it is more fun to watch Binibining Pilipinas than, following the Miss USA na pageant, because there's a lot more glam in Binibining Pilipinas than the Miss USA pageant, which is, I cannot believe is what we're at right now. And then of course, addressing yung mga smaller problems that pops out later on, magiging easy na lang yon kapag na-address nila yung tatlong issue na ito. Okay? Now, I think for the last thing that I wanted to discuss for today's, live stream is yung issue ng Miss Universe being sold. I think ito yung pinaka-huli kong gusto kong iparating, i-discuss na portion, kasi this is just rumors at this point, because we've heard the names like Eugenio Lopez ng ABS-CBN being able to buy the entire pageant daw, and which, for me, parang medyo far-fetched, but who knows, diba? And then there's another one, Omar Castorino, which is a Paraguayan businessman who was, I think, the ex of Nadia Ferreira, the Miss Universe first runner-up last year. And then there is also Anne Jakarjutatip. I think tama yung pronounce ko ng name niya, of JKN Global Group na nakabili daw nung mismong Miss Universe pageant. Now, what does this mean? It only means that the market talaga, the money talaga for pageants is in Asia and Latin America. The US na market has moved on. And I think that is one thing that the Miss Universe and the Miss USA organization should really try to accept and not fight back. And if they are still very hard-headed when it comes to the business entity or the business person to purchase and buy out the pageant, maybe they really should rethink if may interest pa ba ang Amerika sa pageants at this point in time. Because right now, I think money here is really involved in this conversation. And they really need to be realistic that pageants and its audiences is no longer in the US. Nasa Asia and Latin America na lang siya. And if they keep on ignoring the fact that nandito yung audience, yung money, then they will keep on making concessions on the glam and the entertainment factor of the pageant. And kapag nangyari yun, pageant fans would look for the glam and entertainment on other pageant systems. Kaya ngayon, naglipa na ang Miss Grand International, ang Miss Supranational, ang Miss World, and other bagong sulpot na mga national pageants and international pageants because they can no longer find the high level of glam and entertainment in Miss Universe. And that's, that's something that the Miss Universe organization really have to accept na hindi na kayo, you are not the same Miss Universe organization or the same Miss Universe brand that you were in the 80s or in the 90s where you had your peak. I think they really picked at the 1980s where the winners would have, mink coats, cars, appliances as a part of their winnings. And they have even yung mga diamond na mga jewelry brands in sponsoring the pageant. Ngayon, we don't see Chinese laundry, we don't see Chi, we don't see Fadil Berisha, we don't see a lot of the mainstays of the pageant that we are used to. And yes, it's okay to evolve, but it's also okay to make sure that you evolve for the better. You evolve with the times without having to alienate the core people that is following you. Miss USA, Miss Universe, and Miss Teen USA all fall into the same problem where they are moving too fast that their audiences are getting left behind. That is the problem here, and that is where they really need to reconcile what they are truly all about. Kasi no matter what kind of renaming, rebranding your pageant, whether you say that it's a job interview, that it's a job search, at the end of the day, it is still a pageant, and entertainment is a huge factor in that, in a pageant. You need to reconcile that with the fact that other pageant systems are offering what you are not offering to your audiences. That is why nalalagasan kayo ng audience niyo. That's why nalalagasan kayo ng sumusubaybay sa inyo. If you keep on doing that, if you keep on alienating and removing the things na minamahal ng mga audiences ninyo sa pageant ninyo, then ultimately your brand will suffer. The more that you keep on, filing away areas of the Miss Universe pageant that your audiences love, the more that you shave them away, the more that you remove them, the more people will start jumping off ship to other pageant systems like Miss Grand International, like Miss Supranational, like Miss World, like Miss Earth, like Miss International, because these pageant systems are providing what you are no longer providing. Kaya, time to recognize that your brand equity is not the same as it was in the 1980s or in the 1990s or even during the Trump era. At least with the Trump era, the entertainment factor was there. Nowadays, we don't even have that. We don't even have the swimsuit or the evening gown portraits or the Fadil Berisha glam shots that we all love. And if a national pageant system like the Binibining Pilipinas can provide for that without, and more, provide for that and more, then you are in big trouble because you are an international organization and people are looking up at the Philippines, at the Philippines national pageant that is not even handling your franchise as a barometer of what a pageant should be, then you are in big trouble. And you really need to step up or have someone manage your brand even if they're not American. So there. I hope that this topic, would shed light sa ating mga kapwa Pilipino on ano ba talaga yung problema nila. Ano ba talaga yung issue nila. And ultimately, the pageant itself needs to recognize all of these problems para magawa nila ng paraan para at the end of the day, they are able to make sure that their brand stays strong. So, that's it. I hope na na-enjoy ninyo itong itong excuse me. I hope na na-enjoy ninyo itong talakayan natin. Medyo mabigat, medyo wordy ako sa pag-explain because there's a lot of things to pack in this conversation. I hope na sana yung mga tao sa Miss Universe organization, sa Miss USA organization, ayusin nila yung mga problema na ito kasi sayang yung brand nila. Ultimately naman kasi Miss Universe is still the highest na standard when it comes to the pageant na industry, and it's just saddening that the brand that we all love is turning to this. It's like eroding itself throughout the years, and we just hope that they are able to at least maintain what they currently have instead of just continuously eroding their current followers, diba? So that's it. I think there's no more comments or questions here. Natalakay na natin lahat yung gusto nating talakayin in this live stream, and if you just tuning in, watch nyo na lang yung mga yung replay later on, so that you're able to look at the different topics and issues that we've tackled tonight. I will be putting a timestamp on the areas where you might want to skip ahead later on. But for now, let's just wait for YouTube to load this entire live stream. Okay? That's it from me, and I hope to see you again in our next live stream. Please hit the subscribe button. Sana po i-share din nyo itong video na ito sa inyong mga friends, and let's grow this community together. Ayan. That's it from me. Have a great evening sa mga Pinoy here in the Philippines, and have a great day in wherever part of the world you are currently in. Ayan. Bye everyone, and see you in our next video.